Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we have a little bit more of a serious video than we normally do, a very sad video. But today we are going to be talking about a TikToker who is also a mukbanger that sadly passed away at a very young age. So we're going to be talking about the TikToker whose name is F-Jean, I think. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I put it into Google Translate to try and help me, or a place to help me pronounce their name. But they are from Turkey. And this is them right here, and they were pretty prolific on TikTok for doing, as you can see, right, mukbang videos, and had been doing it for a while. And so if we go through their TikTok here, there was someone that was obviously quite large that was doing these mukbang videos. And so, I think the best way to kind of explain this a little bit is going over this article as well as other things that we were able to find, me and Rachel, on the internet that kind of go over this person's life and sadly their untimely passing, right? And so this is an article from Turkey Today, which goes on to say Turkish TikToker passes away due to health issues linked to obesity mukbang trend, right? And so he just passed away about a week ago, I think. So a lot of this stuff is very, very new, right? This article was written March 8th. I think he passed away maybe March 7th, I believe. I don't remember exactly, but very, very recently, right? We're not going to read this whole article right now. I just want to read this first part right here. It goes on to say F-Jean Coulter, I believe I'm saying that right. I don't know. Apologies if I'm not. A popular TikTok personality known for his videos reflecting the mukbang trend, tragically passed away at the age of 24, right? So this is someone that's incredibly young. He had been battling obesity for some time, and his health deteriorated due to complications caused by his weight gain. Coulter had been receiving treatment at the hospital before his death. Coulter gained fame on TikTok for his mukbang videos, a video style where individuals eat large amounts of food in front of a camera, right? These videos helped him amass 156,000 followers on TikTok and 12,000 on Instagram. His death was announced by Instagram personality Yasin Oyanik. I'm sorry, I apologize. And then this is a photo of him and his mom. Apparently his mom had passed away about a year ago, right? So he had been doing these mukbang videos for a while, and he was gaining quite a bit of popularity, and this is actually one of his most popular mukbangs, and this is actually a video that they had. So this was from a TikTok live. He did a lot of TikTok lives, right? And so this was just like recorded from a TikTok live, and apparently they are just kind of announcing this, whatever this page is, right? Announcing that he had passed away. And one thing that you can see here is he's adding a ton of salt to this spaghetti. And that's something that you would see in a lot of his videos where he would just add excessive amounts of salt almost. I think that was part of maybe like the things that, the thing that made him maybe popular, made him stand out, as well as obviously his size, which that's a whole nother thing when it comes to the whole mukbang trends is how dangerous it can be, because there are so many people doing it now that you kind of have to stand out. And sadly, standing out for, this young man was being incredibly large, right? As well as adding just copious amounts of salt to the food and stuff like that. So, it's a very interesting and sad trend, the whole mukbang thing, and, something that we'll definitely get into a little bit later in this video. So F-Jean had been obviously struggling with his health for a while now at this point, but within the past few months, things have really, really started to deteriorate, which kind of reflect in his videos, as well as just you can tell by looking at him that he was getting much more unhealthy. And even to the point where people that were like content creators in Turkey were starting to notice, and they were almost like interviewing him because of, how bad things had gotten. And so this, again, obviously I don't speak the language, and so I'm doing my best to understand, but it seems like this person, which goes by the name of Testo Talon, I went through their channel. It seems like they do a lot of kind of interviews with people. He kind of went to F-Jean's house and kind of interviewed him. Obviously, this is not in English, and so I am going to do my best to try and read these captions for you. But basically, he's kind of just talking to him about what had happened, and the general gist from what I understand, is that Efjan started having some, I think, liver issues, liver or kidney. I don't remember exactly what it was. And that's kind of where a lot of the issues kind of stemmed from. And the reason that he continued to do it, this is one of the biggest problems, is because that's what was paying the bills. Like, he didn't have a way to pay for his rent. He didn't have a way to basically live other than this. And that's a whole nother story, right? So he almost was trapped in making these videos, which were slowly killing him. But he also almost felt probably that he kind of had to, because if he didn't, what else would he do, right? Obviously very similar to other people we've talked about, kind of the hungry fat chick, situation. It's very reminiscent of that. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit of context. Again, I'll do my best to kind of read. We're not, obviously this is a 23-minute video. We're going to go over only a couple minutes, but I just want you guys to see, him talking, as well as, get a little bit of context for yourself. So it goes on to say,
böbreklerimi üşütmüşüm.
Evet.
Böbreklerimi
room, I caught a cold in my kidneys, so it was a kidney failure. This isn't translated perfectly. And so he's talking about how he's having
doktor bana
kidney issues.
antibiyotik verdi. Antibiyotik verince
So the doctor gave him
o da beni
antibiotics.
affedersin ishal yaptı. Günde 8 defa sulu bir şekilde tuvalete çıktım. Ondan sonra öyle olunca da işte
So he's going to the toilet a ton, right?
ayaklarımdaki kaslardaki sıvı azalmış, yani vücudumda full su gitmiş.
Evet.
Öyle olunca abi bir baktım 2 gün boyunca gittim geldim tuvalete. Ayağa bir kalktım. Kalkmaya çalıştım. Dizlerim beni kaldırmadı. Üstüne çökemedim yani. Ondan sonra
So from what it's saying here, right, is that he was going to the toilet a ton, and then one time he went to the toilet and he wasn't able to stand up, right, which obviously is, not going to work. And so I think that's when let me move my face a little bit so you guys can see the captions. But, that's when I think he decided, he realized, this is a problem.
doktora sorduk, dedi ki egzersiz, fizik tedavi, bol bol su içeceğim falan diye.
Başladın mı fizik tedaviye?
Başladım ama o da
So he started physical therapy after that.
her seansında 1500 lira para alıyor. Biraz bizim
And he's saying that's a problem because he charges money for each session and he can't afford it, right?
de benim tek gelirim TikTok'ta yayın açarak.
And so that's one of the reasons I really wanted to share this, right? He says right here, our only income is from broadcasting on TikTok. So the only money that he is making is from, because he would do TikTok lives eating, right? As well as obviously posting. But he made most of the money from the TikTok lives because people would send, let me send money during the live. And so that's where this becomes an issue, because this thing that is helping him pay for being able to live in a house is also the thing that is slowly killing him. And it's like, obviously the smart thing would have been like, screw it, whatever, right? Your health and your life is more important than that. But, it seems that there was, I don't know why no one else in the family has a job, isn't able to pay for this stuff, but it just seems that there was no one else that was able to help him through this, right? So he's saying, I couldn't afford to not do TikTok, right? I can't afford to not do TikTok because it's the thing that pays the bills.
Annemiz 6 Şubat'ta vefat etti.
Başın sağ olsun.
Sağ ol abi.
So he's saying his mother passed away February 6th of last year, right? Because this video was uploaded only about a month ago.
Dostlar sağ olsun. Babam 8 sene önce. Ondan sonra artık bir birikimim vardı. O da gitti sağ olsun. Onur abi, Marul abi, bazı kişiler bana çok destek oldu, maddi manevi.
Şu an destekliyorlar mı seni?
Destekliyorlar ama nereye kadar yani?
Evet.
Yani
So basically, he has family that's trying to help, but again, it's like, things are expensive now. It's hard enough to pay for things on your own. And so trying to pay for, someone else, it's a lot of times it's just not possible, right? It sounds good. Like, yeah, of course you should just pay for your brother or pay for your mom or pay whatever, but it's expensive. Not everyone has the means to do that, right?
bir sınırı var. Benim de birikmiş param vardı. Hani bu vergi muhabbeti için falan onları harcıyoruz. Kremler çok para tutuyor falan. Öyle yani.
So he's just saying that all the things that he had to pay for to help him were expensive, so he couldn't afford it.
Anneni hastalık sebebiyle mi kaybetti?
Evet abi. Kanserdi.
Allah rahmet eylesin.
O şekilde. Sağ ol abi, dostlar sağ ol.
So he says that his mother passed away because of from cancer is what it seems like.
Diyet uyguluyor musun şu anda?
Tabii diyet uyguluyorum, bir de hastanede yatarken beni genel bir check-up'tan geçirdiler. Her şeyime baktılar, işte böbreklerime, ciğerlerime, her şeyimi kontrol ettiler. Allah'a şükür bir şey çıkmadı. Ona göre bana şey yazdılar, bir tane hap, endokrin, obezite hastalıkları.
So basically, he's saying they checked a bunch of stuff and apparently they didn't find anything that was, a super big problem, I guess. I don't really know exactly. Again, obviously these translations aren't perfect. They're saying they prescribed him a pill.
Bölümü. Böyle o hapı içtiğim zaman abi, mesela yemek yiyorum ya, 15 dakika sonra direkt tuvaletim geliyor falan böyle. O hap yağ yakıcı bir hapmış. Hareketsiz obez hastalarının hani diyetle birlikte.
So he's saying it's a pill that helps sedentary obese patients lose weight. Again, I don't really know much about that, but
Kilo vermesini sağlayan bir hapmış. Bayağı kilo verdim ben yani.
Senin kilon yüksek olduğu için mesela bir ayda sen 50 kilo da verebilirsin. Öyle
Tabii,
bir avantajın
evet.
var.
Evet abi, doğru.
Kilonu biliyor musun şu an?
Şu an kilom bilmiyorum çünkü
so now he's asking you how much he weighs right now.
tartılamıyorum.
Tahmin etsen?
En son işte Kurban Bayramı'nda tartıldım. 210 kilo falandım.
210.
Aynen.
Maşallah ya. 200
So he's saying he was about 210 kilos. Again, I don't know if the captions are correct, because I've seen other reports where it's saying he was, much heavier than that. So again, it's really hard to say, but clearly he was, incredibly heavy, right?
110 kiloyken hayatını güzel bir şekilde idame ettirebiliyorsan şu an 300'e yaklaştın o zaman.
Yok, 300 değilim.
250.
250 falan ama onu da vermişimdir yani.
So that's kind of that's just the that's the clip that I wanted to share with you, because I feel like it shows obviously the position that he was in not long before he had passed, and there were obviously people that were interested in telling his story, but just interested in helping as well. And it shows that he truly was, which is what I talk about in a lot of videos, in a mukbang prison, right? He was in a prison that he felt it was really hard to get out of because, yes, the mukbangs are paying the bills and they're making it so he's able to, live on his own, but also they are slowly killing him, and eventually they did, right? And obviously there's a lot that goes into it. I'm sure, it's not like it's just the mukbangs. There's a lot that goes into someone being that size and having those struggles, but I think it's ridiculous to say that they have nothing to do with what ended up happening, right? Because it's clear, like there's such a clear sign of like what he looked like and the way that he was acting and the things he was able to do before these mukbangs got popular versus what he ended up looking like right before he passed away. I feel like a really good representation of that is if you just scroll through, his TikTok, right? So these are the mukbangs that happened not long before he passes away, right here. But if we scroll down, and these TikToks aren't that old, right? If we scroll down here, this is the TikTok of him in the gym, right? Saying that he wants to work out. And sadly, if you look at the top comment on this, it says, if he would have stayed consistent in the gym, he would still be here, right? And this is from 2023, right? And like seeing the size that he is there, and the size that he is in some of these other TikToks, and the fact that he's even outside, right? Like he's outside. We look at this, like he has the standard, TikTok haircut. He's out with his friends. He's at the mall. He was actually living a life versus, when we get to here, he is just existing basically. And it would be silly to say that the TikTok and like the mukbangs have nothing to do with, exasperating the problems. And then that leads us to this is an Instagram reel which was posted. That was basically, so this was posted 5 days ago, and it was kind of almost like announcing his passing. And sadly, there are captions. Like if you go to this post on your phone, the captions will auto generate. I don't know why they don't generate on the desktop. I don't really know what that's about, but what I was able to understand was this guy kind of came in. I don't know exactly who this is. I don't know if he's like a reporter, but he's someone, and he comes in and says that he saw that previous video, which we had just been watching, right, of the guy that came and kind of interviewed it and talked to him about the problems that he was having. And he said, like, I'm going to pay for your rent for a year, right? As well as I'm going to pay for physical therapy for a few months, right? So there were people that were genuinely trying to help him. I don't know exactly, like this must have happened not long before he passed away, because, you know, that video was uploaded that we just watched just about a month ago. And then this video, this man must have seen that video, which is what he says in the previous, he says that in the video, that he had seen that previous video, and that's why he was reaching out, right? And so this all happened relatively soon. And so it's just so sad to see, because clearly there were, you know, people that wanted to help, but it's just one of those things that, you know, once you're kind of too far gone, there's only so much that you can do. And then just to kind of finish this article off, right? So this is, again, a photo of him and his mother. It goes on to say the dangers of the mukbang trend. While the mukbang trend originated in South Korea, it spread globally, including to Turkey. This trend involves influencers eating excessive amounts of food on camera, often to gain attention or increase engagement through views and likes. This trend poses significant health risks, particularly from young audiences. Many teenagers aged 11 to 25 participate in mukbang videos to gain social media attention, potentially exposing themselves to severe health problems related to overeating. The ongoing debate about social media regulations, particularly age limits for platforms like Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, highlights the need for greater awareness of the dangers posed by these trends. Turkey is currently working on introducing legislation that will limit the use of social media to adolescents under the age of 16. Discussions for these regulations have been underway since February 2025. And so that's kind of the story. I wanted to share how I feel. You know, we've talked about this a lot, and it's obviously very sad what this young man has gone through, as well as his whole family. But I think that it's interesting because it helps push the conversation about mukbangs and what we're going to do about them, because it seems like we are in a world where it's only going to get worse, right? Like people only are going to do more and more and more for attention on social media. And I do feel like, you know, we're at a time where this is getting to be very, very dangerous, and there really should be some sort of rules. And again, I've always said that I don't know exactly what that's going to be. I don't know if that means YouTube. I mean, obviously I'm on YouTube, but like these other social media platforms as well, if they demonetize people that are eating large amounts of food on their platform, because even if they do that, there are always ways that people can make money without, you know, relying on AdSense, or without relying on, you know, money directly from these platforms. Because even, you know, with F-John, he was getting a lot of money just from TikTok Live. So it's not like he was getting money from TikTok. It was people that were viewing his TikToks and sending him money that way, right? And so it's like, it's not like he was getting paid from TikTok. I don't know if that really makes sense, right? Because with YouTube, you get paid from Google ads, right? And as well as sponsorships, right? And so there's ways that you can get around just getting paid by the platform. And so it's like, okay, what's the answer? Does that mean YouTube bans mukbangs from happening? And then, you know, because there are plenty of people that do, you know, regular mukbangs where they're not eating excessive amounts of food, and the size of their, you know, they're not struggling with weight and they're not having issues like that, right? And so it's like, is it fair to punish everyone based on the fact that there's a few people that are, I don't even want to say they're abusing the system, but that, you know, this is becoming a very big problem for them, right? I don't know what the answer is. I've always really struggled with that, because I think that, you know, there should be regulations, but also, you know, freedom, brother. You know, we should be able to do what we want to an extent. And so if like people are making those decisions for themselves, that's obviously, you know, their business. But at the same time, I think that we have to do our best to look out for everyone, right? And I do think that the more and more that especially young people are seeing these things, they are more tempted to want to try it themselves. And then this problem just gets exasperated. So I really don't know what the answer is. I really am curious what other people think, like what you guys think the answer would be. Again, I know it's easy to say, just ban it all. And maybe that is the answer, but I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit more nuanced than that. But I would love to know what other people think about the situation in general, but then also just what do we do about it, right? Like what is the answer here? Because I'm kind of stumped on that one. But yeah, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I hope you are all having a good day. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll see you next time. Peace.